Kevin, what a year it's been. Our final podcast episode of 2023. Here today, we bring you the Elite Heat 25. Now,
Yes.
many of you devoted wrestling fans, people who are in the wrestling space, the wrestling fraternity, you'd be aware of the PWI 500. You'd be aware of these big end of year or just general lists of the top wrestlers of X time period, generally a calendar year, but it can cross over like the PWI does over separate years. Today, Kevin, we've got a big one. Our 25. I'm excited. Are you excited, pal?
Oh, I'm so excited, pal. I can't wait. I'm just jumping off with joy, pal. Let's go. Let's get it.
Pal, this is going to be fantastic. So just set the foundation for this. How we're going to do it, we figure, from the general presentation point of view, as content creators, we could have just me read my 25 to 1, then Kevin reads it. That's a bit dull. How we're going to do this, I'm going to read or go off 5. Kevin's going to do 5. So what's going to happen? Kevin will read 25 through 21 on his list. I'll read 25 through 21 on my list. We'll do some blunt reactions to that. Then we'll move on. Kevin's 20 through 16, my 20 through 16, etc., etc. Eventually, we're going to have big, huge debates, I'm sure. There'll probably be 1 or 2 wrestlers who Kevin puts too low, I put too low. We'll probably be yelling at each other, or we might be very, very civil about it. We'll say, I can't wait, this is going to be powerful.
We probably won't be civil about it. We're very rarely civil about anything. And we had like a 20-minute argument at the beginning of our last podcast. So, yeah, there goes that.
Kevin, we had commenters legitimately trying to hype up us having a boxing match after that argument. Like, there were commenters who wanted to see a shoot fight.
Well, I brought that up several times, that we're going to have a shoot fight once we're recording in a studio. So I kind of started the ball rolling with that one. And now the people are running with this. So now we have to do it. That's the moral of the story. I'm going to put the gloves on, pal. And we're going to have a shoot fight.
Pal, that is fantastic. I think without further ado, we'll get to Around the World later on. That's to come as well. But first, Kevin, I'm just going to kick it to you. Kick us off. The Elite Heat 25. Your 25 through 21. Or do you want to do honorable mentions first?
Yeah, I'll throw out just a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make my list, that were on the cusp of making my list. First, I have Julia from Stardom. I threw her out there purely because of the online fanfare. Everybody says she's the best women's wrestler in the world. Seemingly everybody on Twitter and Reddit and whatnot. So I am listening to that, so I'll put her here out of respect. I've never seen one Julia match. I can't even tell you what she looks like. But I'm just going to mention her because she seems to be a fan favorite. Then I have Claudio Castagnoli, formerly known as Cesaro, back when he was in Shackles, pal. Now he is free, pal. And he had a great year, I would say. He carried Ring of Honor, whatever's left of that brand. And he's having good matches damn near every single week. He's running wild with Jon Moxley as part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yep.
I have Logan Paul. He almost made my list. Logan Paul, I had him penciled in like the 23-24 spot. I took him out at the last minute. I really wanted to put him on there. He had a great year, but I was like, I don't know. It just feels wrong, including Logan Paul in a top 25 list. I don't know why. It just felt wrong to me. It just felt like he's more like top 30. And then Julia Hart, I have her on there. One of the few bright spots of AEW in 2023. So she's been killing it. She's doing a great job over there, pal. So yeah, that's my honorable mentions. Do you want to say any, or should I just keep the ball rolling?
I got a few. A few. The ones you mentioned, I agree with. I have Logan Paul in my top 25, as we'll get to.
Love it.
Other ones I have now, we trash on him more than damn near any podcast going. Finn Balor, in objective fairness, he has had a definite, at least honorable mention year.
Yes.
WrestleMania, co-main evented in a Hell in a Cell match versus Edge. Had the sick demon entrance. It was a co-main event of WrestleMania. And the match was pretty good all through the concussion situation and whatever happened with the bleeding and whatever. He was involved in a big main event of Raw storyline with Seth Rollins for the world title for like 4 months in the middle of the year. And he was a tag team champion. Judgment Day has been the big thing on Raw. So from a kayfabe point of view, he should be like on this list over a guy like I have Logan Paul, as we'll get to. But I can't, in good faith, put Finn Balor in the top 25. He's just not entertaining enough. Simply as not. So that's Finn Balor. Want to shout out him. I've put Okada as an honorable mention. I think he's deserving of a mention here. He's just, once again, we'll get to this with a number of other wrestlers, Kevin. He's just greatness. You know, he does his thing. He has a really good year on its merits, but compared to other years, I don't know. I just don't feel like putting him in. Solo Sikoa, I've got as an honorable mention. Lots of main event TV time. Does he have the matches to back that up and really the catalog there? No. He did squash and end John Cena's career, power deep in the guts and the heart of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So that was powerful. And then just rattling off one or two other names. Tiffany Stratton had a great year in NXT. She was like the standout woman from NXT. I've put in Grayson Waller personally. This is all selfish. If you're doing an objective list, Grayson Waller would probably be like maybe top 50, top 70. To me, I was very entertained by him. He did really not much in the first half of the year. He had a good match on it in NXT and some NXT title stuff, but really on the main roster, some entertaining segments. That's about it. So that's my honorable mentions, pal. I also want to shout out Kevin. This man deserves an honorable mention more than anyone in the business. Kevin Shane McMahon. WrestleMania, he comes out. His knee explodes.
Come on.
And he wasn't seen again, pal. Kidding.
Jeez. All right, pal. Let's get this rocking and rolling, pal. I'm going to start this off with number 25.
Yep.
I have the man who, on a regular basis, was in their face telling people that they don't have fathers. So, Christian Cage. He's here purely for his character work. You know, his matches and in-ring work. I know people will throw tomatoes at that. Like, yeah, he's not the Christian Cage that he was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. He doesn't need to be on this list. He is doing the absolute best mic work of his entire career, honestly. I mean, the character he's got right now where he's just like, he's saying things that other people couldn't say. You know, other people are not going to be allowed to say some of the things that he says. Like, what he was saying to Nick Wayne and to Edge, telling Edge to have Beth make the sheets for me when I come home. Crazy. You know, telling his daughter to get away from him and go to her mother. I mean, you know, that guy's a legend. He just is. He's Christian. He's an all-time great. He's somewhere in the top 100 all-time. Maybe we'll see. Maybe one day we'll do a 51 to 100, pal. Maybe. Probably not, but you know, whatever. 24. I have your boy that you spent a good minute talking about. Your favorite wrestler. We all know you're a huge fan of this guy. You know, he's absolutely just like, for your fandom growing up, this guy is a pillar of that. You idolized him in his NXT run. You watched him in New Japan Pro Wrestling when he started the Bullet Club, and then when he signed with NXT, you were like, oh my god, Prince Devitt is here. Prince Devitt, yes, oh my god, that was you, Jimmy. You go way back. You've been watching Prince Devitt since like '09 when he was doing bicycle kicks on the indie scene, and now he's here in 2023, having a career year. You know, let's call it like it is. Finn Balor, your favorite wrestler, pal. I stress that again. Finn Balor's having a career year. Nothing but love for the guy. You said a lot already in the honorable mention. You said pretty much everything I want to say. He had a hell of a year from like a kayfabe standpoint. We may not like him, but he's a big merch mover. Judgment Day is going crazy with merchandise. He's been involved in plenty of big-time storylines, matches, etc. So, fair placement. At 23, I have Carmelo Hayes. This guy was the face of NXT for just about all of 2023. And I think he set himself up the most to have a big run on the main roster. We're looking at a future WrestleMania main eventer, I think, here in Carmelo Hayes. I think he's going to click very well with the fans once he gets a little seasoning. I think he's the guy over Braun Breaker. I think he's the guy that WWE's going to be hitching their wagon to, pal, in a few years. So, high praise for him, and he really kickstarted that by having a great year this year and broke out in a lot of ways. So then at 22, I have Io Sky. She's been killing it. She's had a career year. Like, Triple H loves her, we know that. So we saw big things coming for her. Women's champion for so long. You know, the proof's in the pudding with her. She's great matches every time she's on the screen. Part of Damage Control, high-powered faction. Yeah. Then, at 21, pal, I have the Great Okada, another one of your honorable mentions. I put him here mostly out of respect, you know, for who he is and what he's done over the past decade. He's been one of the faces of wrestling of the 2010s and now early 2020s, which is crazy to say for a Japanese wrestler to be one of the faces of wrestling overall. You know, it just shows where New Japan has gone and how far it's come. You know, he's had great matches, notably in America, his match with Bryan Danielson in AEW at their pay-per-view. That was a big match. You know, I mean, he didn't have an Okada year like where he was like the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 wrestler in the world like he's been in the past. but he's still Okada. He's still having great matches. He had a lot of intrigue this year with the free agency talk, so that's a big storyline to watch in 2024. I think if he does go to AEW or WWE, we're gonna be talking about Okada in the top 10 or top 12 of this list next year.
No, that is completely fair. I'll jump to my 25 to 21. Some similar names, or actually, no, honestly, one name popped up in your 25 to 21, pops up in mine. The rest is different. So you love to say it. Number 25, I got Carmelo Hayes. Mello, you gave a glowing description there. He was really the guy in NXT for the bulk of the year. Someone like him, he didn't do a lot wrong. It's just so much that the guys ahead of him, I personally just preferred their years marginally. This isn't a slight on Mello Hayes at all. He's definitely a top 25 star of 2023. He had a pretty good year. We know with Mello Hayes, as you allude to, he's going to have a lot of really good years coming in the next few years. So, yeah, it's only upwards from here with Mello. I think, yeah, I see definitely co-main event of WrestleMania. Whether he gets to the main event, I don't know when, because WWE, Kevin, is going to be bloated with star power in the coming years. They'll have a run from CM Punk, Roman finishing out his prime, Cody is the star. Obviously, Mello Hayes here. You still got guys like Rollins, MJF's going to come in. There's going to be a lot going on. So there's going to be a lot of star power, the heavyweights, for heavyweight star power. But yeah, Mello, shout out, definitely top 25. So he's my number 25. 24, you got Logan Paul. Well, I do. Sorry, I have Logan Paul 24. I just think the year he had, did he appear all the time? No. But what he did stands out quite a bit to me. I remember pretty much everything Logan Paul did this year. He stands out. His WrestleMania stuff involving Seth Rollins, just that match. WrestleMania is a big thing to me, Kevin. So as far as my placements on the list, if I'm looking at you going and these wrestlers going, oh, how do I compare this wrestler, that wrestler? Should I put Logan Paul in, or should I put, a guy like, I don't know, Grayson Waller in, or Sikoa, or just generally anyone? I look at WrestleMania. Logan Paul had the great match at WrestleMania of Seth Rollins. He just did. He came down the zip line, had a great match. KSI was in a prime bottle, pal. I know you love that. Our listeners love saying KSI in a prime bottle, pal. But yeah, won the US title. He's the perfect US champion in many ways. I love what they're doing on SmackDown with him, pal. This is something they could be doing, as we'll get to, with Roman Reigns. When they're doing this tournament with all the US title guys, it's on SmackDown, just some TV matches. Logan Paul's literally just doing a self-recorded camcorder video, just talking trash about the people in the tournament, saying he's better than them, or this guy sucks, or he's taking personal shots at them. Do stuff like that. Yeah, it's fun. Gets Logan on the show. He's a great US champion. So he's 24. 23, I've got Toni Storm. Timeless Toni, pal. She was a standout in the AEW women's division. She had a great year. Her character development and just generally character as is, I could describe her character. She'd be the AEW woman who I'd want to watch her matches most. She stood out to me. If I'm going the AEW YouTube channel, I'm looking as far as the clips and what's happening in AEW. It'll be a handful of people. Toni Storm will be one of them I click on to see what they're doing, see how they're going. So, yeah, she had a really good year. I feel like worthy of top 25. She had just a great year all around. So, Toni Storm, 23. 22, Bianca Belair. Once again, she's a bit like, and I think I alluded to this a couple of weeks back, a bit like a Giannis Antetokounmpo in the NBA, pal. She's just great. She's going to be a prime star for at least the next 5 years. She's going to have a lot of just great years. She had an excellent 2021, a phenomenal 2022. Her bar is so high that a year like this didn't make her lofty expectation, but she was still women's champion the first 6 months of the year and involved in main event women's matches for the rest of the year. So she really didn't do anything wrong, but, just the product of her own greatness, pal. Bianca Belair is 22. She captained one of the teams in the Women's War Games, pal. That was an amazing match. Shout out Bianca Belair. Didn't do a lot wrong, but I just don't think she had a banner year like some of these other wrestlers we'll get to, pal. So there's that. And 21, Kenny Omega. He had to be top 25. I think many say he had the match of the year against Will Ospreay, the Wrestle Kingdom. He had some other good matches across the board. He was a standout at All In that 6-person tag match, pal, against Don Callis's bunch of goons, pal. Kenny Omega stood out there, in my opinion. Generally had a good year. Fingers crossed for his health. Genuinely speaking, hopefully he can bounce back from a genuinely really serious situation that's hospitalized him and put him on the shelf. So nothing but prayers out for Kenny Omega. Great talent, similar to Bianca Belair. He set the bar so high with his own expectations and performance. He lived up to that fairly much, I'd say, this year, but he's come in 21. No slide on him, so there you go, pal. There's my 25-21 blistering.
I love it, pal. All right, so For number 20, I have Damian Priest.
Same, might I say? Carry on.
Love that. We got one right, pal. Look at that. Damian Priest had an absolute breakout year. He's one of the candidates for breakout superstar of the year 2023. The dude he leveled up. He had a match of the year candidate with Bad Bunny at Backlash. That alone has to propel you to a top 25 spot. Having a match of the year and then being a part of Judgment Day as we said with Fergie, a focal point of the show, a focal point of Raw. And he's developed on the mic. He's developed his character work, and he's really proven to be like a guy that's going to be remembered as a pretty good upper mid carder from this era. It's kind of what he is, and I think it's a pretty fair placement. He's just good enough to be, he's just good enough to be above that mid card, upper mid card status, but not quite good enough to be in that main event scene with the Codys and the Romans and the Rollins and all those guys. Maybe he'll get there in 2024, but what he's doing right now is pretty solid. So yeah. At 19, I have Brock Lesnar.
Same.
You do?
Same as well.
Look at that.
So that another tick, pal. You're getting them right, pal. So I've got the objectively correct list. So yeah, you're doing good here, pal.
My list is far more correct than yours.
No, it's not.
My list is the only list that these people that are listening need, pal. First of all.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Carry on.
First of all. So Brock Lesnar at number 19. The guy was full-time from January to August, basically. He had a really good feud with Cody Rhodes for most of the summer. Kind of carried Raw. They main evented Backlash in Puerto Rico. They didn't need a championship pal to main event. We had Brock Lesnar and Cody do it. The moment at SummerSlam was big. That was one of those good feel-good sports entertainment moments when Brock and Cody hugged and Brock raised his arm, really earning the respect of Cody, or of Brock. Sorry, Cody earned the respect of Brock. Yeah. You love to see that. That's just good stuff all around. Brock Lesnar being here, WrestleMania had a match with Omos. You knew when Brock Lesnar's on the screen, you knew business was about to pick up, as they used to say, pal. So, to me, the guy's a big star, and he was there full time. Gotta have him in the top 25. We have to show respect to him, unlike the PWI 500, okay? Number 18, I have Toni Storm. I agree with everything you said about her. I just valued her work a little bit more than you, pal. Just a few spots higher than you, pal. I think she was a top candidate, in my opinion, for female MVP of the year. I don't know if we had her on our ballot. She should have been.
Yeah, she was.
She was. Good. Yeah, she was there. She was AEW champion for a good portion of the year. Her character work is insane. The main thing that she's done, though, in 2023, and that's the most important thing, is increase her value. So now she's going to get a big check, cash in with Nick Khan and Paul Levesque, and show up at whatever pay-per-view, whenever her contract expires, whether that's this year or next year. She's going to be a big star again in WWE whenever that time comes. When she first started in NXT, it was like, oh, this girl had potential. Like, people were obviously tripping about her for other reasons that we're not going to talk about on this podcast, but there was some stuff to like about her, that was just natural. And then there was the potential that was like, hey, look, this girl could be a superstar. And then 2023, she filled that potential. And she became more than just potential and became a focal point of AEW, one of the highlights of AEW. Number 17, I have Dirty Dom, Eddie Guerrero's son.
Okay. Yep.
Dominic Mysterio. I think if we had done this list, let's say in September, I think Dominic would have been a top 10, top 12 guy. I do think he's cooled off significantly after the summer. Not significantly per se, but I think he's cooled off a little bit. He's not doing a whole lot right now. He's just kind of in the background. He won the North American Championship, and that was all fine and dandy. That was fun. But I feel like what he did in the beginning of the year, man, that's enough to put him here, like, easily. He was the hottest heel in pretty much all of 2023. He was the hottest heel in WWE. He gets the loudest boos, the loudest reaction. He's an easy character to hate. Like, how could you not hate, like, a rich kid, a son of a rich kid, or, like, a rich kid, son of, like, a Hall of Fame, multi-millionaire, A-list celebrity? Go ahead.
I just want to add on to that. Yeah, so Dom Mysterio, he's with Rhea Ripley. They're promoting the Elimination Chamber show, pal. He's on, like, an Australian news station. And what's happened, essentially, the AFL's, the Australian Football League over here, when Elimination Chamber happens, so February 24th, it's like 2 weeks before the season starts. So they're doing like a pre-season game between the 2 Western Australian teams, and they've scheduled it on the same day as Elimination Chamber. Perth, it's stupid. Anyway, So basically what's happening is it's counter-programming, pal. So Dom Mysterio was asked about this, and he cut this blistering shoot promo on the best player on each team, and he was talking trash about them. It's great stuff. Like, Dom Mysterio is so hateable. He's fantastic.
Yeah, his character work is excellent. He's excellent on the mic. He's far better on the mic than his dad. Honestly, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And that's no slight on Rey Mysterio. Just Rey Mysterio was never a great promo. Dominic really makes you feel something. Yeah. Now the question is, can he be a good babyface? That's the question. But for what he's done, another breakout of the year candidate, man. Guy's been awesome. WrestleMania, big match with his dad. One of the big matches of the whole show. One of the most hyped, most anticipated matches. And everything he's done in between. A feud with Cody. Good performances here and there on Raw. Good stuff at NXT. Can't fault him at all. Number 16. I have Swerve Strickland.
Okay.
Swerve Strickland just missed out on my top 15. He just did. He easily could have been top 15. Easily could have been top 10. Let's call it like it is. The guy is the future star of AEW. He needs to be the top guy. He needs to be the one that dethrones MJF. I feel like if AEW does anything else but have Swerve dethrone MJF, it's not going to be a great look. What are you going to do? You going to have Jericho win the AEW title again? You're going to have Adam Copeland win the AEW title? What?
Ric Flair?
Yeah, Ric Flair? What are the options here? What are the options here, pal? You got to have Swerve. He's the top guy. He's the top guy in the company. He had a breakout year. He had a great, excellent second half of 2023 that got him here, that propelled him all the way to a top 16 spot. That's one thing to keep in mind. He was kind of cool first half of the year. But then it all picked up when he started feuding with Hangman Page and really broke out, really set himself apart from everything else that's on AEW. And was like, okay, this is the guy that's going to be talked about. This is the guy that people want to see. This is the guy that's intriguing on a week-to-week basis. That's the guy that, is not some guy that Tony Khan dusted off from WWE's heyday and was like, hey, put him on the screen, pal. No, this is a fresh, new star. And yeah, I love everything about the guy.
There you have it. Nah, I like that. Pal. Yeah, I as we discussed, I had Damian Priest and Brock in the 20 and 19 spots as well. I'll just start on with Priest. Really, if you look at what he did this year, brilliant year as well. I mean, the Bad Bunny match at Backlash is his memorable, that's what you'll remember from Damian Priest's year generally. And really, that's what propel him as a star. One of those things that really helped make him, that performance against Bad Bunny at Backlash. He won Money in the Bank. Pretty cool. He got a custom special Money in the Bank briefcase, pal. He was actually one of the interesting pieces of Judgment Day. To me, that's stable. There's 5 of them. So Rhea is obviously the leader, the standout star, pal. Dom Mysterio, I will get to him. I've got him a bit higher than you do. But then we've got Damian Priest. Great year, great talent. Fergal, objectively good year, but I've never liked him. And then McDonough, who's the trash man. So, yeah, there's the Judgment Day. They got lots of TV time. Priest, deserving top 20 guy. I got him 20th. 19, Brock Lesnar. I'm just going to echo what you said. Couldn't agree more. Really good year for Brock. He deserves to be in the top 20, pal. PWI left him out of the 500, which was genuinely sickening.
Yeah.
How they had Cheeseburger. They had these random... These wrestlers who probably make maybe barely 5 figures a year from wrestling, just from little bits of... They can barely survive, pal. These wrestlers in poverty working indie mud shows in front of 20 people. They were above Brock Lesnar in the PWI 500.
You sound like Jim Cornette, pal.
I got Brock Lesnar 19, so there you have it. 18, you had him 16. I got Swerve Strickland. Very much the exact same thing as you. Couldn't agree more. I think Swerve, here's my prediction, he'll have a top 10 2024. I think when we do this next year, he'll be a top 10 guy. Swerve went from a guy who was, talented wrestler, great worker, good performer a year ago, and he really broke out. Now he is, I agree with you, the guy to beat MJF. You can't have Ric Flair beat MJF. You can't have, I don't know whoever comes out as the devil, styling and profiling, pal. Kevin,
Adam
the devil
Cole.
should be Tony Khan. Kevin, the devil should be Tony Khan. He's the devil behind the scenes with his booking. You might as well have it on screen as well, pal. Tony Khan, MJF, I'm the devil. I'm the devil.
Pal, what if it's CM Punk?
Yeah, put the alcohol down, pal. That idea is hideous. Next, that's Swerve Strickland. He's at 18. Next, number 17. You had her 22. I've got Io Sky. She was a real standout this year from the women's standpoint. For the last 6 months of the year, she was really the main female star on SmackDown. On that side of things, she held the women's title, and she was the highest rated segment on a number of SmackDowns, particularly your Septembers, your Octobers, leading into November. Obviously, Roman Reigns isn't there, so you've got really, Jimmy Uso and I guess Sikoa's the bloodline representation. That wasn't pulling like 3 million viewers. It was Io Sky. It was Damage Control. It was what they were doing leading into War Games. That was drawing 2.4-ish million viewers. Best thing on SmackDown for a couple of weeks there. So shout out Io Sky. Really good year for her. A banner year for Io, pal. The Empress of the Sky, pal. She'll have another good year next year, no doubt. So there's Io Sky, 17. 16, you had him 25, which I think is disgusting. Christian Cage.
Wow.
Christian was the most entertaining thing in AEW from August through until November. And I could still say till now, Kevin, in a time period when AEW, not much good was going on. MJF was involved in the Jay White storyline, which featured the most disgusting promotional tactic of 2023 with the quarters segment. Awful. We'll get to that. We all know what happened. What else was happening at AEW? Ric Flair was coming out, cutting promos. There were random matches. Orange Cassidy was good, as we'll get to him. But really, Christian Cage was the most entertaining thing. His promos, telling Adam Copeland, go F yourself. Like, just brilliant. Christian Cage, you mentioned a lot of his lines when you were doing your account about him at 25. So entertaining. He was genuinely, for about 6 to 8 weeks there, the only AEW thing I'd even consider watching.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to watch the clip for. I'd go to the All Elite Wrestling YouTube channel. I'd look at what happened on Dynamite and go, I'll watch Christian and Tony Storm. The rest of this I can just skip. I'm not missing anything. Christian was that guy for a number of months. Yes, his match catalog. It was no Will Ospreay, pal. It was no Bryan Danielson. It was no Gunther, pal. But what it was a damn good entertainment year. So shout out Christian. He deserves top 20, in my opinion. I don't know, pal. I don't know how you can live with yourself not having Christian Cage in the top 20. So, how can you go to sleep at night and not have a sense of just disgust in your gut about not having Christian Cage top 20?
Well, 16 is a bit high for Christian Cage.
Oh, please. Would you stop that?
Can you tell me his most memorable match? Can you recount for us what his most memorable match was of 2023? Would you like to do that?
I'd say his match against Darby Allin. Any of the ones they did, that was what? All in or all out?
Can you recount the one that people talked about the most?
This isn't the point, pal. I have him here for entertainment, pal. The match against Adam Copeland, not the one that involved Nick Wayne's mother on Dynamite, but not that one. The one that's going to happen, pal, in a couple of days. That'll be the match for Christian Cage in 2020.
When is that match happening?
The 30th of December.
Oh, yeah, this pay-per-view that AEW never even announced was a pay-per-view.
Wow, pal, you're taking shot. Pal, you're trying to diminish the great Christian Cage. This is disgusting.
I'm just saying, that match with Nick Wayne's mother, that's a candidate for worst match of the year. We should have done worst match of the year. I don't know, that would have been an interesting topic, but yeah, I think I'm throwing that one in the hat, pal. But I digress. I think I don't think Christian did enough to be a top 15, top 16 guy. But I digress.
Now, he was the most entertaining act in AEW for about 4 to 5 months. Carried them entertainment-wise.
I digress, pal. I'm going to start with my number 15. I have one Kenny Omega.
Okay. Yeah.
The guy had 2, 5.5, 6-star matches with Will Ospreay alone. Mm-hmm. Had a great 6-man tag. You mentioned that already. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, like, I came on here and I said, hey, Kenny Omega might be washed. I think it's time to have that conversation. I still think it is time to have that conversation. Let's be honest. He's not the Kenny Omega that he was when he was number 1 on the PWI 500. When he was having 7-star classics in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's not that guy. He's never been that guy in AEW. On American soil, we have not seen that prime, peak Kenny Omega. What we get, though, is still a hell of a Kenny Omega. Every time he's out there, it's a great match. He commands the presence of the crowd, unlike anyone else, arguably, in AEW. I think that point could definitely be made. He's very unique. There's so many things to like about the guy. There are some negatives too that the Jim Cornettes of the world will make sure that you know. But that stuff doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Kenny Omega, when he's on the screen, is great. And it's hard to look away when he's wrestling. He always does something unique. His moveset is so cool. He just looks cool. He stands out. Yeah, like I said, not a prime Kenny Omega year, but still a top 15 finish for him. I mean, you can't beat that. Even if he was 21 for you, that's as good as it gets. Yeah. Number 14, I have the man, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I don't think she was quite top 10. I think she's had I think she's her days of being a top 10 wrestler. I think are done. Let's just say that. I love what she did though this year. With that being said, I love what she did. I'm a big fan of Becky Lynch's 2023. She helped put NXT on the map. NXT Women's Division in particular. The work she did with NXT is phenomenal. So giving. You know, she gave back to the new generation. She flexed her muscles this year, like just the way she carried herself. She carried herself that she was better than everybody else on the screen, you know. And she does it in a way that's like cool. Where Charlotte does it in a way where it's like, I don't really care. But with Becky, it's like, wow, yeah, I believe everything she's saying. She just has so much swagger. The stuff with Trish Stratus was really good. You know, WrestleMania, the match that she was involved in, you know, it was what it was. It was fun. It was a fun little multi-woman tag match. Whatever. I just don't think she had the calendar year, like overall from start to finish, to be in top 10. You know, I think you got to do a little bit more on a consistent basis, or your peak has to be a little bit bigger. Because there are some people in the top 10 that did not have a great calendar year throughout, but their peak was bigger. So then at 13. So again, similar situation here with the peak being really big, but not quite good enough to get him in the top 10. That's Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn had an absolutely incredible first 4.5 months, I want to say, of 2023. Then it's kind of plateaued out. I mean, you know, he wasn't even on the SummerSlam card. He's not doing a whole lot nowadays. The tag team division's still on the back burner, even with Triple H in charge, pal.
Sorry, Kevin.
What?
So I hate to interject here. I've just got to raise this point. In the last like month or two on Raw, he's been involved in like the main storyline generally. Something with Seth Rollins. He had the match with Drew McIntyre. He's a big focal point on Raw in that stage. And there was the Pittsburgh street fight, the match at Payback, I believe it was. That was incredible.
It was.
There was that. He was the tag team champion. Yes, I'll agree with you. The tag team title run wasn't legendary or anything like that, but it was a pretty good tag title run with Kevin Owens. And that match specifically, I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. And then everything you mentioned, Pally, an incredible peak in the first 4 months. Main event of WrestleMania, was involved in like the best segment of the year, I thought, one of them, with the Montreal thing, the match against Roman Reigns, the Royal Rumble ending. I'll just say this before I jump back to you. The fact that he's not top 10, I don't know what else he's supposed to do, really. I don't think that is fair on Sami Zayn. I don't think the Becky Lynch one's fair either, which we'll get to. I think this is probably your worst take of the list so far. There you go.
I mean, there's so many great wrestlers. Somebody had to get left off, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, the first, like, 5 months, 5 months of 2023 were absolutely incredible. I mean, the guys had a killer first half of the year. Call it like it is. It was incredible. The Elimination Chamber stuff, the Royal Rumble, that's the whole storyline. Man, that Royal Rumble finish was great. Everything about that, the match with Roman and whatever, you know, whatever they did, it was just, man, wow, so special, bro. That was one of the best moments of the year, that whole Royal Rumble thing with Jay and Jimmy, and then the Elimination Chamber stuff with Aaron Helwani narrating the preview package. Man, come on, goosebumps, pal. That Elimination Chamber crowd, hometown crowd, Montreal, Quebec, 40,000 strong, pal. I'm lying about the number, 40,000 strong, pal. Nick Khan sold 40,000 tickets for that, pal. They were all going crazy, cheering on Sami Zayn like it was CM Punk in 2011 in Chicago. It was that kind of environment. One Night Stand, RVD, Cena, that kind of environment. Yeah. I mean, he didn't make my top 10, but he definitely could have. You know, he could have. I give it to him. It's hard to fit all these great superstars, pal, into the top 10. So at 12, I have Jey Uso.
Same. We agree on Jey Uso, number 12. Same.
Jey Uso had a breakout year. Call it like it is. The guy went from being a twin that nobody could tell apart from his brother to now a few short years later, he's a main eventer. He's a top guy in WWE. He's taken off. His career's taken off. And he's from a calendar year, from January to December, Jey Uso's been in the mix. You know, the Royal Rumble stuff that we talked about with him and Sami Zayn and Roman and all that. WrestleMania. You know, Money in the Bank, Civil War, main eventing SummerSlam. The tag team of Cody, getting Yeet over, becoming a big character, big baby face. He's been in the mix. You know, he's been in the mix the entire year. Didn't have the peak of Sami Zayn, but he had consistency, and I value that too. And and I value his superstardom. You know, Sami Zayn, it was kind of like, okay, this guy, you know, he could main event a pay-per-view. Like, everybody knew he could main event a pay-per-view here and there when WWE needed it. Jey Uso main eventing SummerSlam, huge. Number 11, I have Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy has been the Gunther of AEW. He's been a guy, you put him out there, he's going to have a great match. You already know it. Anytime Orange Cassidy's on a screen, it's going to be fun, it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be a hard-hitting match. People are going to be bleeding, you know, like he did with Moxley, and yeah, I mean, the guy is just, he's been, what's the word I'm looking for? A utility player. He can do it all. He can do anything and everything that Tony Khan, when he's coked up, is like, hey, Orange, I need you to do this, pal. I need you to open this pay-per-view. Oh, wait, I need you to close this pay-per-view. Oh, I need a main event for Dynamite. Come on, can you do it? And Orange Cassidy's there. He's made that secondary title that he holds. I don't even know the name of the championship. TBS Championship.
AEW International Championship, pal.
International Championship. Yeah, he holds the International Championship with pride, has elevated it, and has made it one of the most important championships in the business, pal. So, there you have it.
I like it. Yeah, the interesting 15 through 11 from you. I'll throw in mine. So number 15, I've got the guy you had 17, Dom Mysterio. Much of the same thing. Very hateable. Does his job really well. I mentioned that promo he cut. Pal, he was cutting a hated promo on this like just drafted 18-year-old who joined this Perth AFL team. He was cutting like a hated promo, saying the guy sucks. Who did he beat? Who did he beat in the match? Harley Reid. Has he beaten any of these talents? Has he wrestled Cody? What's he done? It was a brilliant promo.
Love it.
Dom Mysterio is just awesome. Like his WrestleMania entrance line, you touched on all this stuff. So much to like about Dom's year this year. I'm really interested to see from a Dom Mysterio standpoint where his 2024 is. Because Dom, I think if he really hits his potential, really hits his stride, there's no reason he can't be top 10 in 2024.
No reason.
I just think we'll see. Hopefully he won't take a step back much. Just want to see how far he can go forward here. So yeah, Dom's 15, really good year. As you say, he did tail off a tiny bit just towards the end. It wasn't as great as it was in the WrestleMania build-up, pal, when I think that was the best built-up WrestleMania match. Dom Mysterio saying horrible things about his father, pal. As you were saying, pal, in any other household, regardless of culture, Dom Mysterio wouldn't be allowed inside the house. He would have been disowned, beaten. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Now, number 14. Here's the big bombshell, pal.
Oh god.
Here he is. I know a lot of people have been wondering where I'm going to rank this guy.
Oh god.
He was the big honcho world champion all year. Didn't show up for about 8 months of the year. I've got Roman Reigns, number 14.
This is disgusting. This is disgusting, pal. You've just watered down your list. You've just erased your whole list. Your list is irrelevant now. Your list cannot be taken serious. You have Roman Reigns at 14.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Are you kidding me? Roman Reigns is objectively top 10.
No, he is not. Not this year. Yeah, generally speaking, talent-wise, style-wise, he's top 5. He's top 3. He's top 1, whatever.
That's ridiculous.
No, his 2023 was a wasted year in his prime.
It's ridiculous.
Kevin, Roman Reigns' prime, he'll be off in Hollywood acting in what, 2, 3, 4 years? This has been supposed to be his year, and he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. The Royal Rumble ending was great. The match, the Sami Zayn stuff, everything for those first couple months, brilliant. WrestleMania match wasn't built up great because Roman didn't show up enough for Cody Rhodes. He showed up twice. Not good enough from the Roman Reigns standpoint. The match could have been better built. If it was better built, people would have been more happy with Cody if he would have been the winner. Instead, people said, oh, it didn't get enough build. That's because Roman didn't show up. You can thank him for that. He was there the Raw after Mania, pal. He main evented that. And then he was nowhere to be found for 2 and a bit months. He did come back. And what they did was really good. In the middle of the year, that Roman Reigns stuff involving Jey Uso, Civil War, I loved it. I thought that was great. Jey Uso pinned Roman Reigns clean. That was a shout out Jey Uso. That Money in the Bank, Civil War, everything, really well done. SummerSlam main event was Jey Uso, didn't quite hit the mark. That match to me is more about the fact that Jey Uso got given the chance to main event at SummerSlam. That's more of a big tick for Jey Uso. From the Roman standpoint, the match didn't deliver. It was 37 minutes long. It just didn't click. And then Roman didn't really do anything the rest of the year. Quite literally appeared 3 more times. 2 SmackDowns, one of which LA Knight cooked him. And then Crown Jewel, good match. LA Knight just lost because of some cheating. So, yeah, I think wasted year. Not enough Roman Reigns. Not even appearances on TV, but just what Logan Paul did. Some videos of him talking trash about opponents. Segments of him knocking over people at a pool. Segments of him at the tribal Thanksgiving with the Samoans. Anything. But I don't know. It felt like a wasted year. He's number 14. He has to be top 15 objectively. But I couldn't sleep with myself at night, live with myself, pal, knowing Roman Reigns' 2023 is a top 10 year. It's not. He wasn't there enough. He didn't have enough impact at times when he was there. There you go. There you go. So do that what you will. We'll discuss this in a moment, pal. Blistering.
Jeez.
Then we move. Number 13. You had a number 11, Orange Cassidy. Basically just echoing what you said. You nailed it with him being the ultimate utility guy. He main evented All Out against Jon Moxley for the, I always call it the Atlantic Championship, the International Championship with AEW. He can be relied upon to do any big match. He has another match with Moxley, I believe it was Full Gear, I think. Don't kill me if it's not. He's wrestling guys like Ray Phoenix. He's wrestling the great talented wrestlers in AEW who are traditionally not misused, but they're not ready to be the main event guys. They're not ready to win the world championship. They're great talent. So, yeah, Orange Cassidy, banner year. This was better than the year he dumped Jericho in a bath of mimosa, and my YouTube channel nearly got taken down by AEW's copyright system. Orange Cassidy had a better year than that year in 2020, I believe. Banner year, pal. Banner year. 12, Jey Uso. You said everything there was to be said there. Awesome year. I mean, look at what Jey Uso achieved this year. He was involved in the great Royal Rumble ending. He was involved in all the stuff involving the Bloodline there. He main evented a WrestleMania, which is nuts for Jey Uso. Like, part of what this list is the wrestler versus, like, expectation almost as well. Like, granted, did Roman Reigns probably, you could say, do more than Jey Uso? I mean, maybe. I'd say they're around the same. But when it's Jey Uso, a guy who, as you said beautifully, pal, couldn't tell apart from his brother, was hosting karaoke in 2020, introducing Lacey Evans, who's going to perform Lex Luger's theme song. When he was doing that, now 3 years later, he's main eventing WrestleMania in a 5-star tag team match. He's, big star on Raw. He's got tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people in Raw arenas around the US, pal, doing this. Yeet, 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 yeet. Pal, Jey Uso is a star, pal. He's main eventing Raws against Seth Rollins in world title matches. He's on a separate show to Joseph Anawai, the breastfeeder. Jey Uso's had a great year.
Disgusting.
Fantastic year. Objectively top 12. And then number 11, I got a guy who, from the matches standpoint, may have had the best catalog this year. I'll give you that. But the storylines, I didn't think were quite there. But the matches were phenomenal. Will Ospreay, I've got number 11. None respect to Ospreay. Just to me, my standpoint of this, Omega matches were great. Some of the matches he had in Japan were great. Some of the matches in AEW were great. I just couldn't tell you from a storyline standpoint what really stands out to me. There wasn't a Sami Zayn bloodline sort of storyline. There wasn't a big, pop and circumstance with that. They were great matches, absolutely. Great catalog, absolutely. But to me, personally, what I value, he comes in 11. 11's a pretty good spot. It's above Roman Reigns. It's above some very good talents here like Jey Uso, Orange Cassidy. There's no slight at being number 11. Some will just, crack the poos, pal, because he's not in the top 10, I'm sure. To me, I can sleep at night safely knowing he's number 11. It's an okay placing. It's a fair placing. Can you get annoyed at this? Probably. I don't really care, though. He's number 11 on my list. There you have it.
Well, I think Jimmy already has a candidate here for a 2024 Elite Heat worst take. Not having Will Ospreay as a top 10 wrestler of 2023. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments for all you listeners.
What's your favorite Will Ospreay storyline from this year? Favorite, what's your favorite storyline?
I'll get to that. I'll get to that, pal. Just let's get to that naturally there, pal. Okay. All right. I'm going to start my top 10 off with number 10, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns had to be top 10 in my opinion. Just couldn't put him higher than 10. That's just me. You had him at 14. Wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. Very what's the word I'm looking for? That's a dastardly take, pal.
You put him top 10 because of his name, but objectively his year was not top 10.
Well,
that's
yes,
hard phrase.
Yes, it objectively was top 10. So Roman Reigns here is the glue that makes some of your favorites tick, right? Sami Zayn had a great year because of everything that he was doing involving who? Roman Reigns, right? Without the Roman Reigns storyline, without the tribal chief character, without the honorary Uce pal, there is no Sami Zayn being a top star this year. That Roman Reigns is, it takes two to tango. Roman Reigns is the best dance partner in the business, pal. So he has a great Royal Rumble, right? Everything, the storyline development's there. Then has a great storyline with Sami Zayn. Yeah, he doesn't appear all the time. He doesn't need to. Okay, he's on the marquee, pal. Roman Reigns there. He's on the marquee. All right.
Okay.
WrestleMania main events. WrestleMania yet again with Cody Rhodes has arguably the biggest main event, the best main event, the most talked about main event that the WWE has seen since Cena versus Rock. Once in a lifetime, WrestleMania 28. So in 11 years, pal, Roman Reigns is arguably the biggest one-on-one star versus star main event, and he's at he's at on the front of the bill, pal. Top guy, can't make it tick without him. Takes Backlash off. Okay, we don't need him. We got Cody and Brock. We got Bad Bunny there. We don't need Roman Reigns. That's fine. Cool. Then he's back. He's back for the Civil War, Money in the Bank. Come on, you kidding me? Another great storyline driven match. Another great storytelling match. That's great stuff. Him and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos. Doesn't get any bigger, any better than that. Arguably, that could have been the climax of the Bloodline story. Ever since then, the Bloodline story is going down a hill. And because it's been killing it for 4 years, so naturally it's going to go down. Not everything stays up here forever. So, yeah, amazing storyline again. Then, SummerSlam main event, pal. Was it great? No. Did it bore the citizens of Detroit? Maybe. Is that all their fault? Is it Roman and Jay's fault? I don't know. The Triple H put Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler in the middle of the show and killed the crowd. So, I digress. Everything that Roman Reigns has done is big box office, big time attention. We're all talking about him. He's must see. And then thrown in there, MSG segments. The MSG segment. The segment with Sami Zayn and all that. Kicking him out of the bloodline. The stuff with the Usos, with Jimmy. All those great promos. Tribal Court. We got it all this year. We got it all. We got enough Roman Reigns content, in my opinion. Top off his year with another pay-per-view main event versus L.A. Knight, who's number 9, pal, on my list. Beautiful transition. Thank you. Applaud me later.
Oh, he's number 9 on mine as well. Look at that.
There you go.
We agree, pal. Finally, you're having a good take with this list.
Yeah.
Carry on.
L.A. Knight. The guy, he does the basics so well. At the core of what makes a great wrestler, like the all-time greats, the Undertakers, the Rocks, the Hogans, Austins, LA Knight has that part mastered. The entertainment side, the shtick, the catchphrases, the look, the eye contact with the camera, the facial expressions, everything. He has that. The presence, the microphone, the gestures. He's got it all, pal. He's got it all. He's become a focal point of wrestling in 2023. It started out with the stuff with Bray Wyatt. Then he wasn't on WrestleMania. He wasn't on Backlash. He was in the crowd for Money in the Bank. I think they were like, oh, LA Knight's here. Oh, my God. And then his year picked up like that. He started getting TV time over the summer. And boom. He's been on a tear. An absolute tear. He went from rising star to A star. Like that. Overnight. Merchandise moving like crazy. Already harped on the catchphrases enough. A main event match with Roman Reigns. Guy's done it all. But the guy's talked about. That's the number one thing. He gets buzz. He generates impressions. He generates clicks. We've had a couple of podcasts centered around him that have done really well. A couple segments, a couple of clips centered around him, and they've all done pretty well. People are talking about the guy. He has the casual interest, which is huge, absolutely huge. He's become a star. CM Punk mentioned him in one of his return promos. I mean, come on, the guy's a star. He's a made guy now. He's gonna be a top guy for at least the next 3-4 years, easily. He's not Ospreay. He's not Danielson. He's not Gunther in the ring, but he doesn't need to be. He doesn't need it. So yeah, number 8, I have Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, to me, she is a top star in WWE. Not just a top woman. She's a top star. She's the leader of the hottest faction in the company. She's been involved in just about everything you could picture. She's been littered all across Raw this whole year. She says star. You see her, that's the top star. She's great on the mic. She's fantastic on the mic. If she had better foil to work with, we'd be talking about Rhea Ripley as a top 3 performer of the year. She just had anybody that could get any kind of good promo or storyline. out of her, you know? Like, she's cutting great promos on Zoe Stark, and Zoe Stark's just like, yeah, I want a match with you, bro. And we're getting these great promos. She's great at what she does. She's a pro. Match of the year candidate with Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania 39. Throw that out there for her resume. Great match with Selena Vega at Backlash. Some of her highlights. Carry the women's championship damn near the whole calendar year, if not the calendar year. Her and Dominic have become a power couple. For on-screen power couple. They're great. I mean, they're great together. It's like China and Eddie on steroids. It's fantastic. Number 7, I have the guy that is the absolute most talked about thing in pro wrestling and has been for the last 3 years. But in particular in 2023, he didn't do a lot this year, and that's CM Punk. He didn't do a whole lot in 2023 from an in-ring standpoint, from a match standpoint, from a promo standpoint. He wrestled in AEW from July to August, and then got fired with cause. Then showed up at Survivor Series, cut a couple promos, had a face-off with Seth Rollins, wrestled a house show match at MSG with Dominic Mysterio. That's all he's done. I just recapped his entire in-ring 2023 in like 30 seconds. But what puts him here is A, his return to WWE. Broke the internet. B, the fact that you, me, every other podcast under the sun, every news site, every article, like everybody that writes articles, every editor, everybody's talking about CM Punk. More than anyone else on this list. CM Punk is by far the most talked about wrestler of 2023, and it's not even a discussion. You know? Where CM Punk goes, big business follows. CM Punk is a huge draw. And yeah, he returned to WWE, broke the internet. He beat up Jack Perry, beat up a spoiled rich kid's son. Or a Hollywood actor's son, sorry. And yeah, got fired. So, yeah. And then opened All In with a smile, pal. Opened AEW's biggest show with a smile after punching out a spoiled rich kid. Son of an actor. So, there you go. Number 6. I have the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. This guy had a banner year. Arguably one of the best years of his career. Arguably. I mean, come on, bro. It's Bryan Danielson. He had, like, what? How many match of the year candidates did the guy have? I don't know. Too many to count.
Tons.
Too many to count, yeah. He started off the year with a huge Iron Man match with MJF. Big matches with Okada. Just all across the board, everything the guy did turned to gold. I mean, he was having matches with, like, I think it was Claudio on a random Dynamite. It's like, man, this guy just still going. He's still going. He's a wrestler's wrestler. He's every wrestler's favorite wrestler. He's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the guy. He has huge power backstage. Fired CM Punk from AEW. I mean, the guy's doing it all.
Yeah.
Let's be real. You know, he was a shoo-in for an MVP candidate for us. We had to include him in the ballot. Yeah. He just gets better with age, pal. So there you go.
I like it. That's a really powerful. That's the best word for your 10 through 6. That's powerful. There's some big heavy hitters in professional wrestling. Roman, LA Knight, Rhea Ripley, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. The first 4 huge merch movers. And then you got Bryan Danielson, who literally runs AW now. So that's big. That's a big 10 through 6. Kevin, here's my response. Number 10. I've got the guy. You put him 7. I pretty much have the exact same thing to say. CM Punk. What more can you say? The most viral moment in wrestling history, really. That return. I don't know what the numbers are at, Kevin. They keep going up. Hundreds of millions of impressions, views, likes, all that. The social media traction, that return gain, Kevin. The moment of 2023. I had 3 people, real life friends of mine, who are super casual, barely follow wrestling at all. They sent me that. I'm like, OMG, WTF Punk's back? Then full caps. And then one of them literally watched the full next 2 episodes of Raw because of Punk. Which that alone, that makes you top 10. I'm not hearing anything otherwise. His AEW stuff, Kevin, I want to shout out as well. Obviously, they make Collision for CM Punk. And CM Punk gets what ratings on Collision? He's getting 700,000 viewers on Collision, 750, upwards of like 800, 850 for some of his segments. Watching him feud with Ricky Starks. Eventually they feud with, Samoa Joe, the real world title thing. What do Collision ratings get now? 250, 300,000? Do they crack 350 on a good day, Kevin? Punk 5 months ago was getting 750,000 viewers on that show. Yeah, Punk's objectively top 10. And yeah, he's like headlining MSG. They're selling out MSG, pal. Nick Khan is having open up, topped off seats in the nosebleed section. So you can get 20 extra people into the arena. Like Nick Khan himself in his president's suit is walking up. He's opening seats. He's pointing to the MSG arena people who work there saying, no, can we step back, please? We've got 20 more fans need to let into the arena. They're each paying $150 to get in here. Thank you. I'll take the money, please. Thank you. That's a couple extra thousand for me. Like Nick Khan, CM Punk, WWE. Punk's coming in number 10. Well deserved. Number 9, LA Knight. Yeah. Kevin, what a year. For a guy who did nothing at WrestleMania, literally wasn't even on the show in any way, a guy who worked the Mountain Dew Black match against Wyndham. God bless Wyndham, rest his soul. A guy who essentially all but did nothing for the first 5 months of this year. He exploded this year unlike anyone. Phenomenal. CM Punk mentioned him in his promo. You laid out what he did, his Money in the Bank reactions. Really, to me, Kevin, the highlight of LA Knight's year, that Roman Reigns, like the contract signing segment. Oh my God. Like that's one of those ones you look back on it in the archives, you'll go, okay, this was prime Roman Reigns, who was so big he didn't even have to show up anymore on the show. LA Knight interrupts his entrance, shoulder charges past him, then proceeds to cook him in a promo. Roasted the tribal chief. Just amazing. So LA Knight, well-deserved top 10 spot. Reactions, merch sales through the roof. Proved us wrong. Kevin, we have a whole extra. You referenced it with the views and the traction LA Knight's getting. We have a whole extra where we were like, look, he proved us wrong. Like, we were like, yeah, probably good US champion, but I don't know if he can main event realistically, viably. He well and truly main evented, pal. He cooked Roman Reigns. So that's number 9. Number 8, I've got the wrestler. You had 13. I got Sami Zayn. I don't think Sami Zayn, he didn't have a top 5 2023. I just think he was a bit better than you rated him. You had 13. I have him 8. Amazing year. Royal Rumble ending. Everything with Elimination Chamber, Kevin. That, as far as this year, what Sami Zayn and, yeah, Roman, but Sami Zayn especially, were able to build up with Montreal, that legitimately was the most excited I was the day before a match to see a match. Like, that felt so big. Like, Sami Zayn's going to enter Montreal, and Roman has to bear the brunt of the Montreal crowd, and it just felt like a collision of forces, pal. And it was so well sold. Sami Zayn's work in that was phenomenal. You bought into it so much because of how well he conveyed things in promos. And when he came out in Montreal, he was screaming, pal. He swore in French. In Montreal, Quebec, Canada, pal. Ariel Helwani was tweeting a Tony Khan for this business. And Sami Zayn was cooking, pal. Brilliant stuff. So that was that. He main events WrestleMania, 5-star tag team WrestleMania main event classic. He has the tag team title run with Kevin Owens. Solid. Drops it to the Judgment Day. They do the whole match, the Pittsburgh Street Fight, which everyone loved. I really enjoyed it at Payback. Then he's involved heavily with Raw and the big matches on Raw. He's Rollins, he's involved with McIntyre. Awesome year for Sami Zayn. So I have a number 8. I have no genuine real gripes with you putting him 13. I just can barely sleep knowing that you have him 13. That's all. So then how we move on. Number 7. This was where I was like, how do I split these two, Kevin? We discussed this in our female MVP discussion. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. How do we split them? Ultimately, what I've done is I wrote down what each of them did in the year, and I looked at Becky Lynch's, and I thought she didn't put a foot wrong. There was nothing she did here that I can even put a gripe with. Rhea Ripley, she had no female opponents that were any good. So ultimately, I've given Becky Lynch the nod here. So I've got Rhea Ripley number 7. You're splitting hairs. We've discussed this last episode. I'm not going to do a big discussion. You laid out what Rhea Ripley did this year, how big of a star she is. She'll be top 10, I think, for the next 3 to 4 years, realistically. She's going to have so many big feuds, big opponents. Belair, Becky Lynch, Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton. They're going to keep doing stuff at Judgment Day. There's so much to look forward to with Rhea Ripley. I've got her 7. You had her 8. Objectively top 10. Then Becky Lynch, number 6. I wrote down what Becky Lynch did. So the first 3 months, 4 months, Damage Control. She was feuding with them. She won the women's tag titles with Lita. I remember that being pretty cool. That steel cage match. I was like, oh, yo, okay. That was solid. The stuff with Lita. I mean, this is something which, you told us a year ago. Becky's going to win the women's tag titles with Lita. It's going to be the big main event of Raw. Steel cage. Cool. So they do that. As you pointed out, Kevin, her WrestleMania match, it wasn't, Roman Cody. It wasn't a big 5-star match. It was a fine WrestleMania match. Nothing against that. It was a 3-star match. Whatever. Moving on. Then she feuds with Trish Stratus. Genuinely really good. Obviously, Zoe Stark has the charisma of a paint tin. But Trish Stratus, it was a great feud, a great opponent to work with. Becky was in her bag, pal. Becky was at the stove, pal, cooking Trish Stratus. She has an amazing promos. Some of the stuff Becky did in this feud was brilliant. from a mic work point of view. The matches, the Payback Steel Cage match, oh my God. That's a top 2 women's match of the year, in my opinion. I've got Women's War Games 1, Becky, Trish in the Steel Cage Payback 2, and then Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair 3. That's just me. So Becky was involved in the top 2 women's matches of the year. That helps. That helps. Then the NXT run, pal. She made Tiffany Stratton a legit star. Tiffany Stratton's already like a great talent, but Becky elevated her tremendously, Kevin. NXT women's title, all these things that got featured on Raw. She did wonders in the NXT women's division, pal. Kevin, Becky did for NXT something that Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, some of these wrestlers, the all-time greats, would never do, pal. Dwayne Johnson doesn't put over the future. Where's he to put over his own family? Stuff like this, Kevin.
Wow.
It's why seen as one of the greatest of all time, pal. So there you go. Wow. Kevin, even Undertaker put over NXT this year. Interesting. But yeah, NXT run, awesome. Then Women's War Games, Women's Match of the Year. Nothing Becky did there there's I have a fault with. So brilliant. Oozing star power, charisma. Need I say more? Becky, number 6 for 2023. Banner year, pal. You said it wasn't really the biggest banner year for Becky. Objectively, banner year. There you go. We moved to the top 5.
IJS, pal. All right, so top 5. Are you ready for this, pal? You ready for my just blistering, impactful top 5? I got to kick it off with what a lot of people think is the MVP of 2023, and that's Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has had, I mean, you talk about a guy that's been great from January to December of 2023. Seth Rollins has been that. There's not anything that Seth Rollins has done that you've like, this is bad, or don't want to watch that. You know, there's been no like Katie Vick segments or, you know, anything like that. You know, the guy is casually involved in the segment of the year that we named collectively the segment of the year in 2023. That face off with Phil. I mean, he came in at the buzzer, pal. Came in like Jordan with 2 seconds left, pushed off at the free throw line, pushed off a Utah Jazz player, and put up the game winner, pal. So, yeah. I mean, we didn't know who the clear segment of the year winner was until Seth Rollins and Punk that came along. But everything else the guy's done. World Heavyweight Champion. This new championship that was created. He's been the perfect guy to put that title on the map. He's made it prestigious, made it a good championship. Good matches with Fergie, good matches with AJ. In my opinion, his best matches with Logan Paul at WrestleMania, the most viral match of 2023 in WWE, pal. I mean, everything the guy touches is solid. Great feud with Nakamura in the fall months over Rollins' back and Nakamura's obsession with it. Whatever, I digress. Dude's been incredible. Number 4, I have Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Easily, he could have been number 1. And I think he would have been number 1, I think, had he had a better closeout to the year. Because, I mean, his title reign kicked off hot. That huge Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson. Then he followed that up with, you know, the feud with Sammy Guevara, Jack Perry, the guy that single-handedly ruined AEW, and Darby Allin. So, that was okay. But then he picks it up with the Adam Cole stuff, man. Jeez. And if Adam Cole doesn't get injured, we might not have gotten that Jay White stuff. We probably would have got Adam Cole and MJF at Full Gear. And who knows? Like, it's a big what if. He would have had arguably a better closeout to the year, and he would have been number 1 in my opinion. If we do get that Adam Cole heel turn, however they were going to do that, the Adam Cole MJF match, the breakup of their tag team. I mean, those guys were selling crazy merch. They were selling LA Knight levels of merch, pal, as best friends, and they did basically a ripoff of the Kevin Owens Jericho storyline from a few years ago, but arguably did it better and more entertaining. That's just me. Don't come at me. The dude is absolutely deserving of being on this list. He's going to just demand a boatload of money from Paul Levesque and Nick Khan if he does indeed leave AEW. A lot of people think he's re-signed. We'll see. So, MJF, the guy says star every time he's on the screen. We're not going to talk about the quarters thing, so I need to bring that up. You know, that was just a really bad blemish on
tasteful, bad. Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah. So, number 3, I have Will Ospreay. Got to put some respect on Will Ospreay. This is pro wrestling after all. And Will Ospreay was the best wrestler. Just in the ring, was the best wrestler in 2023. And to answer your question, the best storyline he was involved with was the Will Ospreay free agency storyline. You know, you had him and Seth Rollins going at it on Twitter, getting people riled up. And it was a big moment when he actually announced his signing with AEW at Full Gear. That was one of those actually like legitimately like good moments. Like it wasn't like when Tony Khan announced that Christian Cage was his big game changing signing and people just went silent. Or when Big Show was announced and everybody was like, "Oh wow, Big Show at AEW? Like what? Like okay." No, this was like, "Wow, Will Ospreay's here. Now I have to watch AEW." type of thing for a lot of people, you know. A lot of people are going to check out Will Ospreay. Like now we can finally see us as American fans and primary watchers of WWE and AEW, we can really see what all the hype is now about with when it comes to Will Ospreay. You know, Jay White was supposed to be that, but I don't think it's worked out that way. Like Jay White was all hype, little substance. Will Ospreay is all hype with a lot of substance. So there's just a lot more there with the guy. We've heard about him for years. He's been on the forefront of wrestling fans' minds. He's been talked about for a long, long time. So it's time to see what he's made of. And yeah, there you go. There you have it. And with that being said, all that being said, just to recap, put a bow on him. He's had what, 5+ star matches this year? Did I say more? 2 great matches, banner of the year. I can't even talk. 2 match of the year matches. Jeez. 2 match of the year candidates. Sorry, it's like 10 o'clock. I need to be in bed. 2 match of the year candidates with Kenny Omega. So yeah, and there it is, pal. Number 2, I have Gunther. Gunther could have easily been number 1, and I think a lot of people have Gunther number 1. What he did with the Intercontinental Championship, come on, unbelievable. He had the match of the year with McIntyre and Sheamus at WrestleMania. If that match happened in Japan, that is a 6.5 star match. Like you can't tell me that I'm wrong when I say that. That match was incredible. That alone puts him high, but man, the guy, he's been a focal point of WWE. He's been a cornerstone, a building block for WWE.
Yep.
And it all happened so quick. Like he came out of nowhere, relatively, just joined NXT and then was like ducked off in NXT UK. Then he comes to the WWE main roster last year, and it's like now he's just incredible, taking over the world, and has quickly become the number 2 wrestler of 2023. Which, yeah, remarkable. Everything the guy does is great now. His promos are great. He shredded The Miz not too long ago on the mic. Had a good match with him at Survivor Series. Great matches on Raw with countless people like Chad Gable, for example. That's one that jumps out to mind. They had good matches on Raw. Even got a good match out of Riddle. Good match at SummerSlam with McIntyre. Guy's done it all. Made the Intercontinental Championship feel more important than anyone ever has. Number 1, I have the American Nightmare. The son of Dusty Rhodes, baby. Cody Rhodes. Man, yeah, the guy, he's been the big star in WWE for 2023. He's been the big star, the box office, the marquee guy, the big baby face. If you put Cody on the card, people are going to be intrigued in it. You know, it's really incredible to see this because this is the year that Cody Rhodes has had that people have been talking about for like 10, 15 years on Reddit forums saying, Cody Rhodes is the next big thing. Cody Rhodes is a big star. Took him a while to get there, but he finally realized that potential. Yeah, the dude just looks like money, walks like money, talks like money, carries himself like money. There's no bigger star when he's coming out with the suit and he's cutting his like great babyface promos. He's a throwback to like classic wrestling. Like he's what a lot of people grew up on. Like they like that style of wrestling, and he just cuts simple promos. It has great matches. You know, the stuff he did with Brock, fantastic. The WrestleMania main event, the Royal Rumble return. He's been not the most talked about, not the best in-ring worker, not the best promo, but he's just been a great collection of everything that entails a pro wrestler to have. He's been a great collection of that, and it's really been a banner year for Cody. And who knows, maybe he could do it again in 2024, but it's going to be tough to top this year that he had in 2023.
Yeah, I fully agree. We share a lot of similarities with our top 5s. The only thing is I obviously don't have Ospreay at number 3. I had him 11. But nonetheless, Seth Rollins, I had number 5. My number 5 was Seth Rollins as well. I basically have nothing else to add on what you said. You nailed it with Rollins. Top 5 year. Didn't really put a foot wrong. It's just the only reason he wasn't top 3 was, in my opinion, there wasn't either one great storyline I can point to yet. There will be the Punk storyline in 2024. That'll really help him potentially be Wrestler of the Year next year. Just for now, though, yeah, we got a taste of it, but on the whole, yeah, nothing really to fault with Rollins. Pretty good matches across the board. He made Fergie even a bit interesting during the middle of the year when they were feuding. So, yeah, shout out Rollins. He's doing a good thing for that new world title, pal. giving it some credibility, giving it, putting it on the front foot, pal, out of the gates there. Seth Rollins, number 5. Number 4, you had him. Number 6, I got Bryan Danielson. Bryan, absolute banner year. When I look at Bryan, I put him in the same park as Ospreay. Just to me, Bryan had that MJF storyline where I could clearly tell you, and I was legitimately super invested with the build. I thought they were doing a phenomenal job in that build up to Revolution with the Iron Man match. That was such a great match, so well built, such a great storyline they told with Bryan Danielson and bring up the family, and Bryan was getting all this stuff they were doing. I was really into it at the time, but just across the board, Bryan's done such a good job. Such a good year for a guy who's, I mean, how old's Bryan now? 42?
Yeah.
Or something. He's in his 40s. This is a guy who legitimately, and fairly so at the time, 2.5 years ago, when he left WWE, I made the video, it's infamous now, but I said, there's no real return on investment of him continuing and putting his body to the brink and all this. It's not really worth it from here. And since then, I mean, he came in with a bang to AEW in 2021, Kenny Omega at Grand Slam 2021 in Arthur Ashe Arena. But going forward, this year particularly has been his year. He's been a top 5 guy, in my opinion. You had him 6, perhaps the same. Awesome year for Bryan Danielson. Yeah, he can't really do much more. He's basically, outside MJF, the MVP of AEW. He's doing so much for them. He's just been the most consistent, the most dependable, most reliable. He's firing CM Punk backstage. He's doing Tony Khan's job for him. He's working with young talent. He's the heart and soul of AEW in many regards now. So that's Bryan Danielson. Next, number 3, I got MJF. You had him number 4. Really, I mean, once again, you did such a great description of MJF. I don't really have much more to add. If Adam Cole doesn't get injured, MJF's the rest of the year for 2023. I think that's pretty much objective, just about. He would have been pretty much neck and neck with Cody. It would have been like this, but I think MJF would have had it. What's done apart MJF is the injury of Adam Cole, and ultimately that awful storyline with Jay White. It was just bad. Like the timing of things, the angles they went with. If you're going to do the quarters angle, you do it the week before. You don't run an ambulance angle at the pay-per-view, because when you have MJF, as you kept describing week in, week out now show, you have MJF yelling at Jay White, I'm going to effing kill you. Like MJF is fuming. And then you get to the shows, there's an ambulance angle, and he's like hobbling. He's doing like Super Cena, Super Cody. It was just bad. And they're finishing the year. They're teasing this stuff with Strickland, which should be awesome the next year. They're doing a match with Samoa Joe at World's End. Yeah, no, awesome year for MJF. Top 3 objectively. He's missed out on being number 1 because of the Adam Cole injury. So there you go. Number 2, Gunther. I got the same top 2 as you do. We went over this in our MVP conversation a week ago. Gunther, similar to Becky Lynch, but really just he didn't really put a foot wrong this year. Like, I mean, his WrestleMania match, it was the best IC title WrestleMania match we've discussed since Steamboat Savage or the ladder match from WrestleMania 10. Just one of the all-time great WrestleMania matches, period. Incredible. He made the IC title feel important. He elevated a lot of talent. He's wrestling guys like Shorty G, Chad Gable historically, guys who are just lower mid-card talents who aren't really that great, don't really have that much outside of either in-ring or they're good at one thing, but not really a lot of things. Gunther made it entertaining, made it watchable, made it interesting pretty much every week on Raw. He even made The Miz legitimately interesting for like 6 to 8 weeks there, which is an absolute testament to the star he is. I look forward to seeing Gunther's 2024. He's going to have a huge WrestleMania match, I'm sure. Is it against Brock Lesnar? Is it against someone else? Probably will be Brock. We'll see, though. Can't wait. So Gunther's going to have an awesome year. As you say, Kevin, just to power up what you've said, he's made the IC title more important than anyone since I don't even know when. I couldn't pinpoint, maybe ever, really, because he's on every week. He's showing off that title proudly each week. Even when the title was really prestigious back in like the late 80s, early 90s, there were TV tapings like every other week, and you wouldn't see the champion for a while at a time. So, yeah, great stuff from Gunther. Number 2. And number 1, pal, need I say more? Cody Rhodes. Kevin, there were reports, rumors, WWE re-signed him about a month or 2 ago. He's making reportedly about $10 million a year. He goes on tour bus. Kevin, Cody, he's the star, pal. He is the face of the franchise. He's the Cena now in 2023. He learned a lot from Cena in the late 2000s, early 2010s. He's now putting it all on show. This is the star.
Wait, can I say something?
Yep.
Now, you said he learned a lot from Cena. Do you think in like 6 years' time, Cody is going to go backstage in a creative meeting in a closed-off room with Paul Levesque and Nick Khan and exercise his creative juice, and then thus bury a laundry list of future talent that end up being just forgettable jobbers?
Well, the first part of that, should he go backstage, exercise political? That's what happened to him at the WrestleMania 39 main event. Need I say more? But Kevin, will it be concerning like this big future crop of NXT talent? Will he single-handedly bury the Creed brothers in a SummerSlam main event? I don't know. Is Cody Rhodes going to stare Ilya Dragunov in the eyes and bury him at SummerSlam 2026? I don't know. Hope so. But yeah, Cody number one, the star, a generational talent, pal. Cody Rhodes. He's got the tattoo here, pal. He's got the neck tattoo, pal. He makes neck tattoos cool.
Yes, he
I'm going
does.
to march into Elimination Chamber 2024, Optus Stadium, Perth, 150,000 people there. I'm going to walk straight to the merch stand. I'm going to see if I can get any limited edition Cody merch. Nick Khan will probably charge $60 for a Cody shirt. I'll pay it because it's Cody. It's going to be fantastic, pals. That's the number one. That's the Elite Heat 25. I'm legitimately sweating. This hat is so hot. This has been a
probably
great.
take that off.
It's been a great list. Kevin, my hair looks hideous right now. I'm not gonna bother. Where do you want to go from here, pal? Do you want to recap anything or move around the world?
Just to recap momentarily, I had to say this. I was looking at my list, right? And I realized here I had written down I had Edge or Adam Copeland at number 3. And then I was like, oh wait, no, this isn't 2006 anymore. Oh. Hold on. And I was like, oh wait, top 25 wrestlers of 2023. I thought we were doing top 25 wrestlers of 2006, so I wrote Edge here in top 3, and I was like, I almost said it, and I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, would he even be like, yeah, Adam Copeland? I don't know.
Kevin, Adam Copeland wouldn't be in the top 50 this year. Like, he would not be in the top 50. Genuinely speaking. I mean, a disappointment for a legend like Edge this year. Yeah. Like, you look at a guy like Brock Lesnar, like a guy who we had top 12 all time. We have him ranked 19. We objectively say he had a great year, did some big time stuff. All of it was positive. It was all really good. There was no sour taste in your mouth. There was no weird collision promos where he's trying to make a cheap WWE shot at Ricky Starks in front of 200 people. Like, there was none of that rubbish. He wasn't blocking you on Twitter. The rated R superstar. Blocking a fair bit of critique on X. Interesting. Disappointing. Adam Copeland had a letdown of the year, nonetheless.
Absolutely. All right, pal. Well, yeah, I mean, that was our top 25 wrestlers of 2023. Overall, just tons of great talent. Can't go wrong. However you want to list your wrestlers, whatever order you want to put them in. Let us know. Let us know some of your best wrestlers of 2023. Who was your favorite? Who do you think is the best? Now, with that being said, pal, it's time to get the globe out, pal.
Yep. Here we go, pal. It's time to go around the world. Oh yeah, pal. Kevin, I want to ask you. Christmas Day was the other day. Yes. You mentioned in our last podcast, and justifiably so, how busy you are. A lot of people are busy, but I've heard you explain your schedule. You're pretty busier than anyone. You've got so much going on. You're juggling all these balls, pal. Yeah. Pal, you're in the circus, pal. You're juggling everything. Talk to us, pal.
Yeah, and I'm also starting my final semester of college in a couple weeks here. So yeah, I'm going back for
as well as all the other stuff.
Yeah, finishing up my degree. Yeah, so there you go, pal. So Christmas Day was pretty relaxing. Well, let me ask you, how do you celebrate the holidays, pal? Do you partake? Does Australia partake in Christmas or Christmas Eve or any of that stuff?
Yeah. We're all about it, pal. Any excuse for a holiday or any excuse for a day off is how it is over here, in my pessimistic opinion. But no, I had a good Christmas personally. Personally speaking, I don't have like a 400-person family. Like some people have the big banquets and the big, afternoon-long feasts. But for me, I was wearing an elf outfit at a community running event, pal. So that was fun. I had the full outfit. I've got the hat on now. I had the full elf outfit. So that was fun. And just ate some junk food, pal. I made Rocky Road, pal. So I got a bunch of chocolate, a bunch of candy, let it set in the fridge. And I had the most rich tasting Rocky Road that nearly made me feel sick. So that was my Christmas, pal. Watched a Christmas movie. That was good, pal. Watched Home Alone. That was great. But yeah, pretty low key, nothing too blistering. I don't have 7 children running around to open presents. So yeah, it made it pretty chill. So what about you, pal?
Yeah, I mean, I started out, I left, I took a trip, to go, to go meet some people in my life that I'd never met before.
Ooh.
So took a trip across Florida, off to the West Coast. It's beautiful over there. The West Coast is really beautiful. It's cleaner than like the Miami area, the greater Miami area. A lot cleaner. It's a lot nicer. Really nice homes. The beach is beautiful. The sunset is beautiful. Very relaxing. It was a very relaxing uh, Christmas weekend for me. I went to see Iron Claw. Went to see that on Christmas Eve. It came out, I think, the 22nd. Yeah, I saw it Christmas Eve. I thought that was a fantastic movie. More on that in a moment. Not anything super scandalous. I mean, in my household, Christmas, everybody drinks. You know, I'm making drinks for everybody. Once I came back home on Christmas Day, making drinks for everybody in the house. Making pina coladas, pal, passion
Oh.
fruit mojitos.
Oh.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
Coquito. Do you know what coquito is?
Never heard of it, pal. Elaborate.
So coquito is a Puerto Rican drink.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that's Puerto Rican or knows Puerto Ricans knows this drink. It's a staple of holidays. Like I said, there's American Christmas and there's Puerto Rican Christmas. Coquito, rice and pigeon peas, or arroz con gandules, as we call it.
Oh, that rolls off the tongue. Say that again, pal.
Arroz con gandules.
Oh. Carry
Yes.
on.
Pernil, which is like shredded pork.
Yep.
Yeah, all good stuff. Tamales, well, we call them pasteles. Every other Spanish country, pasteles is a cake, but for us, it's a tamale, a pork tamale with potatoes and like all this stuff in it. Delicious. So that's all incorporated, all those things I mentioned. So coquito is this is kind of scary for those of you who don't drink, or do not drink very often. It's a little intimidating. So essentially, what it is coconut milk, like coconut cream, and then you could put your choice of rum, whatever you like. But you put two rums in it. You put a spiced rum or a dark rum. Then you put a coconut rum or a white rum. Now, my family are a bunch of lightweights. So, I drink mine more rum.
Wow.
Yes.
Shots fired.
I know.
Okay.
I drink mine more rum, less milk, less cream. For the family, I tone it down a little bit. The recipe calls for 2 cups of dark rum and 1 cup of white rum. I put a half cup of one cup of the other, and put the regular amount of cream and milk, so that way it's a little bit sweeter. So everybody in my family, just about everybody in my family, is like, wow, this is really strong. And I was like, I toned it down. I cut it in half for you guys. If it were me, if I was making it, I would double the dose on the rum. I'd have whatever the recipe calls for, add an extra cup, whatever. Like, that's just me. And I would put a little less cream and milk because I like mine a little stronger,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm drinking this like water. And
Oh my god.
yeah, like I'm drinking, like I literally have like one of those like protein like protein shake cups.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm drinking coquito out of that. I'm sitting there sipping it, filled to the top, just sipping it.
Oh my god.
I didn't drink the whole thing, but I'm doing that, and I don't even feel the buzz. Literally, I don't feel the buzz. I barely put any liquor in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. We get crazy. I mean, I watch basketball. I was gambling. I was gambling all weekend, betting on sports. Lost some money, won some, lost some again. Whatever, is what it is. It's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I lost on the Kansas City Chiefs. They killed my parlay. Disgusting. So circle back to Iron Claw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil it because I know you want to see it, but I thought it was a great movie. Really, like, that was really a great movie. I saw it with my lady who knows nothing about wrestling, nothing, and I was like, trust me, I know this is a wrestling movie, but trust me, this story is beyond wrestling. The Von Erich story is a story of tragedy and sadness, and there's so much with that story. I mean, the movie was really, really well done. It was really emotional. Like, I left the movie and I was like, wow, I need a minute. Like, I had to come down. I had to, like, not even come down. I had to come up. So I was like down here. It brought me down. Zac Efron was freaking fantastic as Kevin Von Erich, man. Oh my gosh, he got in fantastic shape for the movie. The only thing I want to say is the casting of Ric Flair. I don't know if you saw this clip that was circulating. They had Ric Flair in the movie. I don't know if this was purposely done, but that was an absolute insult to Ric Flair. Like, they did so great with Harley Race and Fritz Von Erich and Kevin and Kerry and all these guys were cast really, really well. But then I get to the Ric Flair part. I'm like, what is this? Like, how do you butcher one of the all-time greats like that? It was like 1986 Ric Flair. I digress. Whatever. Yeah. So that was my Christmas experience, pal. Then I went back to work the day after Christmas, 5 in the morning. So, boom.
Pal, and you had a good Christmas as well. The Knicks won. They finally beat a good team. So there you have it. On Christmas Day, they beat the Bucks. That was good. I was watching it. I was like, okay, because I expect not much from the Knicks because it's the Knicks, but they beat the Bucks. I was like, wow, GG's. Fair enough. Kevin, with your just question, this is sort of unrelated, but you touched on this. As far as your, we'll say, not gambling adventures, but have you ever put money on or against the Detroit Pistons in the past couple months?
No, I haven't. I should have. I should have put $100 starting in October. I was reading if you like put $100 on the Pistons and just rolled over the winnings, you'd be up like 10 grand or something.
Insane.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable. And just on that real quick, because I know when Brian wants my like deep, honest thoughts on this. I think one or two others who follow basketball. Selling the team won't do anything at this stage. Okay, the players, the rotations are wrong. The chemistry's bad. Alec Burks sucks. Get him out of the rotation. Monty Williams isn't that great of a coach as people thought he is because of the team he had in Phoenix. But he's not a horrible coach. He's just like a fine NBA coach. So, yeah, people saying fire Monty Williams, fire this, fire that, fire the owner. I'm like, what's that going to do? Like, you're 40, not even 40, you're like 30 games in the NBA season. You fire the owner, and what's that going to, like, no, it's not his fault this team of talented young players is performing so poorly. The owner put a pretty okay team out on the field, pal, on the court. It's not his fault. I thought the Pistons would win 25 to 30 games. They'll be lucky to win 10. That's not the owner's fault.
It's embarrassingly bad.
It's the players' fault. The players need to show some pride. Fix your spacing. The spacing is awful. Cade Cunningham nearly died the other day against Brooklyn just to score 37 in the second half and still lose because Alec Burks sucks, and so did their rotation. So, yeah, Pistons have the all-time losingest NBA record for a streak. 27 in a row they've lost, Kevin. That's unbelievable. These are all NBA players. They all made the league. They can all shoot mostly pretty well. They're mostly, athletic. These NBA players. It's a professional sport. There's no excuse, pal, for 27 straight losses, pal. It is revolting.
Yeah, I mean, they have some talent. Cade is like a legitimately good player. Jaden Ivey could be a legitimately good player. Killian Hayes is a good like rotation player. So it's not like they don't have talent. I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, I mean, like you said, 25, 30 win team is what the expectation was, but man, this is like the process level bad, like when the 76ers were just tanking. But yeah, pal, you ready to get out of here?
Sure am, pal. This has been exhausting. My shirt is legitimately like, I don't know if you can say, it's literally like sweating.
Oh, I've been like that sometimes. I get it.
Pal, this is blistering stuff. It's a bit of a change to those episodes, and especially the middle of the year where I'm sitting here at 3:30 a.m. with a puffer jacket on, like 4 layers on, a beanie. You're like, oh, it's 78 degrees here, pal. With a t-shirt. I'm sitting here just like.
It's 65 degrees right now in the heart of the winter.
That's egregious. And that being said, pal, there's been a fantastic year for Elite Heat. We're about to record this extra. I don't know if this comes out during 2023 or to start 2024. But yeah, we're powerful. Peace.